Welcome, addicts. All right, we are doing another six-team best ball draft. I've done a few of these now, and I think we have a little bit more semblance of a strategy. So, with six teams, they're not as crazy as the three-team drafts that we've been doing. Those are just stupid. These ones are actually really interesting, and I've only worked on the turn, so this is the first time I'm kind of getting in the middle of the draft, and it's actually pretty easy to start tilting in these 16 drafts. You think that the depth is going to be there, but it can still really dry up quickly because we're basically extending this, through like the first. You typically see about guys that would go around round 7 or 8 to round out the draft. So it's basically just like giving you two picks in each round in a sense, but because there's less competition, you're gonna need to hit on quarterback and tight end, positions that aren't as relevant in bigger leagues because you can make up for the fact that there's only one or two people that have those advantages. In a six-team league, you really want to make sure that you have a top two guy at tight ends and a really strong stable of quarterbacks. So I've seen a lot of people go really high on guys like Kelce and Kittle, and I totally understand why. We're gonna see how this draft falls. Obviously, you always have to play the room, but we're gonna try our best to make sure that we're getting one of those top tier tight ends while not neglecting the running back position because the running back spot can still dry up very quickly here as well once you get out of those first couple of tiers. Um, it's not as ugly as other drafts when you're talking like 12 teams. The running backs dry up a lot quicker, but again, we need to hit on pretty much every pick if we want to win these types of drafts because with having higher caliber players, there's going to be a standout team in each one of these leagues, and having an advantage at tight end, at quarterback is going to help you with that, but you still don't want to overinvest. So, like here, we're not going to jump and take a tight end. We're definitely going to take Ezekiel Elliott. We have him projected a good bit higher than Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara right now, even though I could see both of those guys doing really well. Love the upside that Ezekiel Elliott gives us, so we'll start with running back. We'll probably try to double tap running back to start and then pray that Kelce or Kittle falls to us with our third pick. All right, so after Zeke goes off the board, we see Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Tyreek Hill, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams. We're back on the clock. This is a bit of flag planting for me. We see Joe Mixon there. We have him ranked pretty close to Miles Sanders, but I am still thoroughly convinced that Miles Sanders is going to take a massive step forward. A lot of people state that Doug Peterson likes to run a committee, but it's really been more of a product of he hasn't had a running back that can actually shoulder a full load and be involved in the passing game. Miles Sanders is the most complete running back that he's had on his team for a while. I'm not nervous about Boston Scott. I'm not nervous about the prospect of Devonta Freeman coming on board the team. He was terrible last year. We're going to take Miles Sanders. So we start off with Ezekiel Elliott and Miles Sanders. Now is where things will get interesting with our next pick. We're hoping Kelce or Kittle fall. All right, so you see the strategy of the room definitely shifts. So after we take Miles Sanders, we see two more running backs, Kendrick and Joe Mixon go, and then the two quarterbacks and the tier one, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes go. That's okay. I'm more concerned about the tight end position, and we haven't been exposed to Travis Kelce in any of our other drafts. We've taken George Kittle a lot. We have them ranked pretty close to each other. Travis Kelce is actually slightly ahead in our projections right now, so we are going to get Travis Kelce along with Ezekiel Elliott and Miles Sanders. Really good core to start this team out. We'll pay attention to the wide receivers with our next pick, but we'll consider running back again just based on who falls. So after Travis Kelce, we see Aaron Jones, George Kittle go off the board, Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, and DeAndre Hopkins. One more pick until we are on the board. Julio Jones goes off. That's someone we were staring at. I think he is a tier break for us between Julio Jones going down to the Chris Godwin, DJ Moore, Allen Robinson tier. So looking at running back, Austin Eckler's fallen. We are incredibly high on Clyde Edwards-Helaire this year, and I want to plant a flag, but at the same point, staring down Chris Godwin, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire will fall to us, and being able to start off with Chris Godwin here, I think, is the move. So we're going to take Chris Godwin. We're going to hope that Clyde Edwards-Helaire falls to us at pick 27. And we see that plan unfortunately did not work. Clyde goes off the board at 25. Uh, Looking at the running backs here, Nick Chubb off the board, Kenny Drake, all the running backs that we're pretty high on are off the board. We're pretty high on Jonathan Taylor. I like Jonathan Taylor a lot, but he has been going a bit later in these drafts, so I'm not as interested in jumping for another running back here. We're incredibly high on DJ Moore. We don't need to worry about tight end. Now that we have Travis Kelce, we'll take a tight end with one of our last picks. Amari Cooper is there as well, who gives us a really high variance score for best ball leagues, but we're going to continue planting our flag. This is basically a flag planting draft on all the guys that we're incredibly high on. We're going to take DJ Moore here, and the next two picks will probably shore up our running back position with some of the guys that fall into tier 4. And so you see a huge run of receivers go. Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, Juju, and then Jonathan Taylor goes. So that's a bit unfortunate. We need to jump back to running back. The last tier is drying up pretty quickly. After Jonathan Taylor, we have a choice of guys between... They're not as exciting, but we've got Leonard Fournette, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon. All these guys are going to get volume. Our next guy up in the rankings is Le'Veon Bell. I know he's not as exciting there on the New York Jets, but again, we have a pretty exciting team ahead of him. We'll take Le'Veon Bell and then loop back around and either grab Melvin Gordon or Leonard Fournette with our next pick. So this is a pretty savvy draft room. We see Robert Woods go there. Really high on Robert Woods. Also really high on Calvin Ridley. He's the receiver I'm considering taking here over a running back. Considering we have 6 picks until our next go around. There's a lot of wide receivers going off the board here. A.J. Brown as well. Really enamored by A.J. Brown's upside. I don't think I can justify taking Melvin Gordon over A.J. Brown. So even if we don't get Melvin Gordon, there's still some running backs later that I'm willing to go with. So we're doing a more balanced approach between running back and wide receiver than we typically do. But because we started early running back and we nabbed Travis Kelce, I'm okay with not having the greatest stable of running backs from 3 through 5. Typically, in a best ball, I'm preferring if Le'Veon Bell is my running back 4, but having Ezekiel Elliott and Miles Sanders, I'm more comfortable with having him as my 3. So we see Zach Ertz and Cooper Kupp go off the board. Maybe we'll get lucky, and we'll still see Melvin Gordon here at 46. All right, so Melvin Gordon did fall. I don't want to get too cute with this, but we talked earlier. We see Kyler Murray go off the board. I feel like the only other quarterback that actually gives us a strong potential, at least from early picks, of being the number 1 quarterback overall, which again, you want, typically in best ball, you always are going to want the guy that finishes first in the position, but in these smaller leagues, it's even more vital that you stand out from your peers. I'm going to get cute with it. I'm going to pivot. We're going to take Dak Prescott and cross our fingers that there's still at least a good running back with our next pick. So now we have a tier 2 quarterback. We have the number 1 tight end, strong running back 1 and 2. Happy with our 3 receivers there. Give us a lot of variance and high touchdown upside with Chris Godwin and A.J. Brown, and a good floor with DJ Moore. Again, this is going to lead more to our typical strategy of focusing more on shoring up more wide receivers later on in the draft, especially if we're able to still get a few decent running backs here. But having Dak Prescott and Travis Kelce could even give us the ability to only have to take 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends, because at that point you're really just shoring up for injury. We'll keep going and discuss that as we go. Man, we see Mike Gesicki jump up way high here, 49. After our last pick, Tyler Lockett, DJ Chark, Mike Gesicki, and Todd Gurley go off the board. So our next running back up is Melvin Gordon. Not exciting, going to a new team, but Denver paid him a lot of money. You don't pay a running back a lot of money if you're not expecting him to be the bell cow for your team. I think Denver is going to be an improved offense this year, and Melvin Gordon should get a lot of touchdown opportunity. Not the most exciting pick, again, but gives us a good stable of running backs to go along with the high upside of guys like Elliott and Sanders. All right, we're going to get super cute with this draft. We've talked about getting an advantage at the quarterback position. In terms of best ball quarterbacks, guys that can completely dud you some weeks and completely blow up other weeks, I don't think any quarterback does that better than Russell Wilson. You could argue that Dak Prescott is the same way. So we're going to just go balls to the wall with quarterbacks and take Russell Wilson and then hope that Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson can combine together to be the best quarterback duo. And then we're going to ignore quarterback for the rest of this draft. So we are going to employ a two quarterback, two tight end strategy here with Travis Kelce being our number one tight end. We really only need a competent backup, especially just for the bye week. And hopefully we start a quarterback run here. But that will give us more opportunity to shore up some high variance wide receivers and give us some upside running backs here in a bit. All right, so I'm happy to say we did start a quarterback run. We see Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz, and go off the board right after Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and then Stephon Diggs. I was hoping Metcalf would fall. There's still a few receivers around this tier that I like. I'm looking specifically at Terry McLaurin, T.Y. Hilton, and Deebo Samuel right now. I think Deebo Samuel actually offers the most upside of all of those guys. T.Y. Hilton definitely could. I think there's a lot of variance going on in Indianapolis right now. They want to be a run first team. Cortland Sutton as well. I just There's just not a lot of other competition for targets right now in San Francisco, so we're going to go with Deebo, especially because he gives us that rushing floor. Interesting. All right, so you see Cortland Sutton, David Montgomery, Evan Ingram, Darren Waller go off the board, a couple tight ends, Drew Brees, and then Damian Williams. I'm not a huge Devin Singletary fan, nor am I Raheem Mostert, but they're going to get plenty of volume. I actually haven't seen Devin Singletary fall this far in any draft. I feel like this is just the draft of unexciting running backs, but there's guys like this every year that really help your fantasy team out, especially in best ball league formats. Um, just see where we got with bye weeks. We have 1 week 11 bye with Le'Veon Bell. Screw it, guys. Oh frick, T.Y. Hilton is still there. I don't like Devin Singletary enough. We're taking T.Y. Hilton. We ended up getting both guys that we were looking at last round, and we'll probably see Devin Singletary go off the board here, but it's okay. If I get one of Devin Singletary and Raheem Mostert, I'll be fine. Wow, we still get our pick of the litter. Well, we'll go with the guy that we were talking up. Devin Singletary, our running back 5. At this point left in the draft, we have 5 picks left. We know we need at least one more tight end. Running backs, I'm feeling pretty confident in these 5. Maybe take one more high upside guy. Mostly going to focus on receiver just because they tend to be the more volatile week to week position, and you do have to fill 3 slots. Plus, they can always fill in that flex. So, like the pick of Will Fuller there. Definitely a high variance guy for best ball, but I actually like his teammates, Brandon Cooks, better. So that's probably who we're going to be looking at next round, unless AJ Green is still there. Well, they're just going to leave him here. It's been a while since we've seen AJ Green perform. And I know there's a lot of risk in taking him, but considering the amount of guys we've hit on thus far, I'm comfortable with going for the upside. His downside is he doesn't play or he sucks. But the upside is that he scores 12 touchdowns. And getting him this late in the draft, that's the kind of thing you want to do in a best ball league. So we're going to take AJ Green as our wide receiver 6. And we'll come back here in a few picks and look at who's still there. So you see Brandon Cooks go. We're looking at running back here. I'm debating between Derrius Guice and J.K. Dobbins. I think Derrius Guice is the last running back here that actually gives you true, finishing as a running back 1 option here. J.K. Dobbins, I definitely feel that way about, but he's looking at needing Mark Ingram to either have a significantly diminished role or get hurt. I think Derrius Guice actually has more upside in that regard than even Dobbins does. Yes, Guice has not been able to stay healthy. I'm not a true believer in Antonio Gibson taking any meaningful carries away. He does have to deal with Adrian Peterson. These guys are literally right next to each other in our rankings right now. Let's go with Derrius Guice. And that'll finish up running backs for us. So Ezekiel Elliott, Miles Sanders, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, Devin Singletary, and Derrius Guice. Still have 3 more picks in this draft. We need another tight end, and we'll wrap up with 2 receivers. Tight end right now, I'm looking at Jonnu Smith, TJ Hawkinson, and Noah Fant, all as guys that give us decent upside. I also like Blake Jarwin, but he has the same bye week as Travis Kelce, so that's not going to fly. I think if Jonnu Smith is there, that's who I'm going to end up going with, but I don't want to neglect this much longer. Yeah, it doesn't excite you that much, but Jarvis Landry was a wide receiver 1 for half the year last year. If his favoritism with Baker Mayfield continues, then it's stupid that he's fallen this far, and I've been guilty of ignoring him up to this point because I was hoping someone else would take him. But if they're just going to let him fall at pick 94, I don't think you can ignore that any longer. So we'll see what happens here within the next couple of picks. You got a quarterback run happening. Roethlisberger, Daniel Jones, Joe Burrow, and Matt Stafford just went off the board. 2 more picks, and we'll see if Jarvis is still there. He is. So, okay. Yep. That's what you guys want. All right, we're going to go Jonnu Smith here. I think he gives us a decent shot at some good upside. He had some nice weeks last year. Mostly going to be focusing on Travis Kelce getting the majority of the points, but I think Jonnu Smith gives us a decent floor. I think he'll be involved in the running game a little bit, as we saw last year as well. And it's not like they have too many targets there. Yes, we're doubling up on A.J. Brown and Jonnu Smith, but not too worried about that. We've got 1 more pick left. It's going to be a wide receiver. See who falls here. The next guys up on our rankings would be Darius Slayton, Deontay Johnson, and Marvin Jones. I have a Marvin Jones goes off the board. I have a lot of exposure to Darius Slayton. He gives very, very, very high volatility. I think he has a really good shot of taking a massive step forward this year. See if this guy agrees. Nope, he doesn't. So I think Darius Slayton is the pick, guys. Yeah, I like Deontay Johnson a lot as well. Is he even here? He is here. I'm wondering if just for diversification purposes, I should take Deontay Johnson because I haven't gotten him in any other drafts, but personally, I'm more enamored by the potential of Darius Slayton. So we're going to do that, and maybe that was a mistake, but oh well. I don't think that's going to completely kill our draft. We'll see if either of these other 2 guys end up taking Deontay Johnson. And so the last 2 picks were Rob Gronkowski and N'Keal Harry, so not like Deontay Johnson is going to end up hurting me by him scoring points for any other team. Let's recap the team one more time for you guys, give you the full view. So quarterback, we've got Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson. Running back, we've got Ezekiel Elliott, Miles Sanders, Le'Veon Bell, Derrius Guice, Devin Singletary, and Melvin Gordon. Much more excited about the first 2 guys. I think the other guys give us a good floor. Don't really know how much ceiling we're going to get out of Melvin Gordon or Le'Veon Bell, but I think Devin Singletary and Derrius Guice both give us a decent ceiling there, at least potential. Wide receiver, we've got Chris Godwin, DJ Moore, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, T.Y. Hilton, A.J. Green, Darius Slayton, and Jarvis Landry. That is a really solid group right there. 8 guys, only need 3 or 4 to perform each week. And then, of course, we have Travis Kelce at tight end. Very happy that we decided to go tight end early. Pretty satisfied with the way our wide receiver core looks. Backing Travis Kelce up with Jonnu Smith. So I'm really happy with my quarterbacks. I feel like my wide receiver group is solid. My tight ends are phenomenal as long as Travis Kelce stays healthy. If he gets hurt, then we pretty much lost the draft anyway, but that's how these drafts go. So I think my weakest spot is definitely running back. But if Ezekiel Elliott and Miles Sanders can perform the entire year, it's not like we're going to need any of these other guys to do much more than fill in on a couple of weeks. So I think we got it. I think we got a really good team here, good chance at winning this one. So if you guys are looking to do any of these drafts, again, there's a link in the description. You can actually get a 50% bonus deposit. And all you got to do is sign up. Anything you deposit, you'll get a 50% bonus. And send me a friend request. We can do some drafts together. Also, hit that like and subscribe button. We are about to start posting a ton of redraft content for you guys. Be posting up our redraft rankings next week, getting you guys some player breakdown videos, going some doing some in-depth analysis over each player that is fantasy relevant heading into 2020. And we will see you guys in the next video.